This is KGW News at noon.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brenda Braxton. We are learning more about the Clark County deputy who shot and killed an off-duty Vancouver officer over the weekend. We know he was also involved in another high-profile shooting. Jonathan Feller was one of 3 Clark County deputies who shot and killed Kevin Peterson Jr. back in October of 2020. It happened in Hazeldale during a failed drug sting. Peterson died after being shot 4 times. His death prompted several vigils and protests, but the shooting was ruled justified and the 3 deputies were not charged. On Saturday, Deputy Feller shot and killed Vancouver police officer Donald Sahota while chasing a robbery suspect, and the chase ended up at Sahota's house. Feller was placed on leave. Well, tributes are pouring in this noon for the late Portland Mayor, Bud Clark. He died yesterday at the age of 90. Clark served 2 terms from 1985 to 1992, but he was known nationwide for much more than politics. Catherine Cook has a look at his legacy.
There he is. Tim?
He is the mayor now. Are you ready to accept victory and declare yourself the winner in the race?
Yes, I am, absolutely.
It was one of the greatest political upsets in Oregon history and the beginning of Bud Clark's Portland, a city he served as mayor from 1985 to 1992. Clark had no political background. He was the barkeep who biked to work. His ascension to mayor began as a challenge to beat the unchallenged incumbent, Frank Ivancy. Clark's former press secretary, Jack McGowan.
Bud slammed his fist down on the Christmas table dinner and said, "Damn it, if nobody's going to run, I'm going to run."
How are you doing, Bud?
Last May, in what would be his final interview with KGW, Clark recalled the moment he knew he'd won, a full week before the election.
There was a parade in St. John's. The former mayor was in the front of the parade, and I was in the back of the parade, and they weren't giving the very good greetings to the mayor in the front of the parade, and they were cheering me in the back, and that's when he first realized he was in trouble.
Would you welcome Bud Clark?
The win put Clark and Portland in the spotlight.
But as mayor, you've got to run a city. I mean, what?
Well, I'm taking a course in public administration and from Portland State College.
You're taking a course now?
You darn right.
McGowan says Clark would make time for everyone, from the citizens he served to celebrities.
I remember that Pete Townsend from The Who came in and wanted to meet with Bud, and Bud just would scratch his head because after work, we'd all sit down on the floor in the mayor's office and have a beer, and Bud would take off his shoes and we would discuss city policy because we had a man who believed in himself, who unabashedly loved his city and wanted to make it better, and the ego was never there.
During Clark's time as mayor, the city built the Oregon Convention Center and extended the downtown transit mall. He helped the city recover from a recession.
He was the people's mayor.
Multnomah County Chair Deborah Kafori's mother, Gretchen Kafori, served on Portland City Council with Clark. She remembers him for the example he set.
He loved Portland so deeply, and Portland loved him because of his authenticity, because he was who he was, and he didn't feel the need to try to be anybody else.
Because only Clark would think to pose for this iconic photo, expose yourself to art. Clark lived to be 90 years old before passing away February 1st. He once told KGW he thought he'd die before his dear wife Sigrid, whom he lost 22 years ago.
I've been such a good guy in this life, I want to be reincarnated as a crow and just sit up there and bitch all the time, and caw. And she said, "Can I be Mrs. Crow?" And I said, "Sure you can." So every time I see a crow, I'm throwing a kiss to her and thinking about her. Whoop, whoop, see, there's Sigrid.
Here's to a life well lived in the city he loved and served. In Southwest Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
That big smile, he was such a character. Catherine showed you just a bit of the interview we did with Bud Clark back in 2020. If you'd like to see more of it, we've posted the entire conversation on our website. Just go to kgw.com. Well, this is day 2 of the Oregon legislature's newest session, and it's a short one. They have about a month to figure out how to spend $2 billion in tax money and federal support. Pat Doris went to Salem yesterday and talked to lawmakers about what they want to focus on.
Each year when lawmakers gather in Salem, people interested in influencing the new laws that are born here gather to let their feelings be known. This year, it was as many as 300 people who are against mask mandates and vaccination. Some of those protesters tried to get in without masks and were stopped by Oregon State troopers. Inside the Capitol, business continued as usual. Lawmakers have a ton of money to spend during the session, as much as $2 billion, all of it from taxpayers. It's astounding to longtime lawmakers like Senate President Peter Courtney.
From there, we got so much money in the budget, I just hope we can find ways to spend it all over the state, not just in one area of the state. And because of fires and drought and homelessness, all the big issues, and this school closure thing, I think we have to take a look at our budget and make sure whatever it takes, we keep those schools open. That's got to happen.
Governor Kate Brown wants $500 million saved for a rainy day. Some of the biggest potential spending packages include $200 million the governor wants for workforce training that's focused on healthcare, manufacturing, and construction. $200 million to expand high-speed internet access to areas of the state that don't have it. $400 million to build more affordable housing and more renter-landlord relief payments. $120 million to move Portland's Tubman Middle School and make way for an expansion of I-5. And $100 million to convert the Elliott State Forest in the Coast Range into an Oregon State University research forest. Republicans, who are outnumbered by Democrats in both Oregon's House and Senate, want more money spent on law and order. And recent polls show voters seem to agree.
I mean, people are feeling it. I mean, when you have almost 90 murders in Portland, we got drug cartels in Southern Oregon taking over and growing illegal marijuana. We got to do something, and funding for police is a big part of that.
The Oregon House has a new speaker. Dan Rayfield from Corvallis now holds the powerful position. He told me public safety will come with more investment in mental health services.
How do we reduce violence in our communities? And so I'm very interested in seeing how our committee chairs prioritize those bills, those investments, as well as, again, really focusing on investing into our mental and behavioral health services as well, because both of those together really complement each other nicely.
Because of the pandemic, there are few people physically in the Capitol building. Most committee hearings are being held online. The building is open, but masks are required unless someone has a medical exemption. It's the first day of the legislature. There'll be plenty of time for battles in the future, but today is about optimism. After all, there is plenty of money to spend. In Salem, Pat Doris, KGW News.
A new rule that stopped the sale of flavored tobacco products in Washington County is on hold. In November, commissioners voted 3-2 to ban the products to keep them away from kids. The ban was supposed to take effect last month, but 10,000 people signed a petition to stop it. If those signatures are verified, the issue would go to voters in May. Okay, let's head back to the Weather Center for a moment and check in with Rod Hill. So how's the rest of our Wednesday afternoon looking?
It's really simple. What we had this morning, we continue to see this afternoon. Yeah, it's one of those days. It's really pretty quiet out overall. Winds from the southeast continue to be light. You can see the moisture flow just dropping down over. So it is a solid cloudy day, as we thought it would be. So far, we've had areas of drizzle out there. We've had a few light showers, but really not that many. Let me go ahead and show you the radar up close. And you can see there's a shower up in Clark County and a few showers up around Astoria. The Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club camera, again, not really bad to be out and about. We have light winds showing there. You're looking at 42 degrees is the temperature outside right now. Here's Camas Meadows. That's the same deal. No real east wind direction to speak of in terms of speed. We're at 39 right now. We'll be 43 at noon and 40 at 8 o'clock. We do have changes, including the weekend. We have snowy passes. I'll show you those. And we'll talk about the outlook based on Groundhog Day. That's coming up.
All right, lots to cover. Thank you, Rod. Well, we just wrapped up the first month of 2022, and it was a deadly start to the year on Portland roads. The latest crash happened Monday night on Interstate 5, just south of the I-5 bridge. A car hit and killed somebody, marking Portland's 10th traffic-related death this year. Police say it's unusual to see so many in such a short time, but they do have a few theories about why that is. PPB's traffic division, for instance, doesn't have anyone on patrol right now. Officers say another factor may be the darker winter months and low visibility because of the weather. There's also the possibility of street racing.
Street racing continues to be a huge issue in the city of Portland, and a lot of these cases, we're certainly looking at whether there's connection to street racing.
Portland police are currently investigating several traffic-related deaths. Anyone with information should contact them.